How do you maintain a stable identity when you are plagued by bouts of depression and anxiety? Well, the first thing we might say is that you can't. If you're plagued by bouts of depression and anxiety, that does destabilize your identity. Look, this is when habit and plan and strategy are so useful. This is when you need a philosophy, let's say, that's aligned with your vision and your strategy to sustain you. And I suppose the vision is of a world that's better and where people are more responsible and more awake and healthier. All of that, a vision of a better world, and some sense of what role I might play in that. So that's very motivating. Like, it's a profound goal to try to make things better. You can do that for yourself. You can do that for your family. You can do that for the broader community. And all of that's worth it, man. It's worth making some sacrifices for. It's worth suffering for to some degree. And then you decompose that into the day-to-day and week-to-week strategies and actions that you're undertaking, the plans and the activities that you're putting forward to make that dream a reality, to realize it. And then when the depression and anxiety come along, you think, get up and you work through the next hour. You try to stay on track. You try to implement your strategic plans to the best of your ability. And you hope and you pray that you'll get through it. You'll get through it, and then the darkness will recede. You stay on track. You eat even though you're not hungry. You get up even though you want to stay in bed. You interact with people even though you'd rather be alone. It's like the boat you're rowing in through a terrible storm, leaks and all, and maybe you'll be overwhelmed, but you have the boat and you can row forward, and that's what you've got. You're terrified and uncertain, but you move ahead to the best of your ability. You operate at least to some degree on hope, and if you haven't got hope, then you've got blind, bloody endurance. And that's all motivated by working towards something that's worthwhile working toward. And so endurance is a huge part of it. It's just bloody endurance. And if you have to limp along and drag yourself forward in order to maintain that pathway, then so be it. Because it's better than the alternative. And I know that you can become depressed enough so that, you're virtually immobilized, but you do what you can to fight it, and then you do what you can to treat it. Have you done what you need to do to investigate the causes of your depression and anxiety? That's a huge deal. And if you're extremely depressed and anxious, then you may be struggling to get through the day, and then you need a map of what is going to constitute a minimally acceptable day. And that might be one where you've done what you need so that when you wake up tomorrow, things aren't worse, right? You have to keep up with your obligations and your duties at least enough so that you're not degenerating downhill. And so a huge part of it is like head down endurance. That'll get you through bad times, that endurance. It's such an underrepresented virtue, that ability to trudge forward unhappily under an unfairly burdensome load is a testament to character. And it's something that should be encouraged and valued. And I'm not making the claim that people who are depressed, who can't get out of bed, lack endurance. Some do and some don't, because depression comes in varied degrees of intensity, and you can be laid out completely by depression. So I'm not trying to make some arbitrary judgment about who's got endurance and who hasn't. You can't do that from the outside, but I can say that endurance is one of the tools you have to deal with chronic discomfort and pain. And depression is a pain disorder, and so that's very much worth thinking about too. It's like move forward, move forward, move forward, and then you endure and hope. And that's how it is. And you do the same thing when someone in your family is sick or when you're facing a death, all of that. It's like one bloody foot in front of the other, up the hill.